The book Crossing Borderlands challenges scholars and educators in the fields of postcolonial studies and composition studies to explore how their respective goals can be more effectively achieved by recognizing and crossing the borders between theory and practice. The authors reference Gary A. Olson, Andrea A. Lunsford, and Lunsford and Ouzgane to highlight that while postcolonial studies is often criticized for focusing too heavily on high theory, composition studies is similarly perceived as consistently prioritizing practical application over theory. The book seeks to find common ground between the two fields and suggests that balancing theory and practice could serve as a point of connection. 3. The volume doesn't seek to simplify the distinction between theory in postcolonial studies and practice in composition studies. Rather, it transcends these boundaries and identifies a shared objective: to amplify the voices and actions of marginalized individuals. While the essays take various approaches, they collectively inquire to what extent teaching postcolonial studies is intertwined with teaching informed by postcolonial studies. Contributors advocate for a deeper acknowledgement of how composition studies contributes to the development of pedagogies that not only reflect but also enact postcolonial theory in the classroom. Additionally, they prompt a re-evaluation of the project of postcolonial studies to explore how it can offer fresh perspectives on conceptualizing and theorizing the institutional space of both the classroom and the university. Crossing Borderlands provides a dynamic portrayal of the evolving landscape of English studies as the essays grapple with defining and situating postcolonial studies within or in relation to this field. The perspectives fluctuate between difficulties in categorizing postcolonial studies based solely on methodology or subject matter, as well as considering it as a subfield of literary studies. This second perspective, which treats postcolonial studies as interchangeable with literary studies, contributes to a heated debate about the relationship between composition and literary studies. Central to the collection is a fundamental question: given the shared commitments of postcolonial and composition studies, why hasn't there been more mutual exchange between these two fields? The opening essay by Minjian Liu argues that one reason could be the close association of postcolonial studies with literary studies. Liu suggests that the entrenched dichotomy between literature and composition, and research and teaching, often hampers collaboration. Other essays in the collection emphasize the interconnectedness between postcolonial and composition studies, showcasing how theoretical and empirical work in both areas can mutually benefit one another and provide effective ways to engage with theoretical concepts and contemporary socio-political realities. Certain essays broaden the discussion beyond literature and student demographics, shedding light on how scholars and educators navigate spaces marked by postcolonial power structures. For instance, essays by Anil Rallan and David Zaka delve into personal experiences to explore the complexities of identity, power dynamics, and resistance in academia. These essays highlight how postcolonial and composition theories can challenge conventional distinctions between creative and analytical writing, as well as research and teaching. They also prompt a re-evaluation of power dynamics within academic institutions. The collection prompts two remaining questions that are thought-provoking and relevant. First, it asks whether every classroom can be considered a postcolonial classroom, and second, it inquires about the extent to which postcolonialism and multiculturalism can be conflated. Pamela Gay's insightful case study of a flare-up during a listserv discussion in her graduate course from 1995 illustrates the potential for trauma when addressing issues of voice and postcolonialism in the classroom. However, Gay's analysis in The Politics of Location, using flare-ups to spark reflexive dialogue in the ever-changing classroom text, demonstrates that such challenging experiences can be instructive. She asserts that to truly confront colonial inequality and foster a more critical and dialogic pedagogy, it's essential to engage with, rather than simply acknowledge or tolerate, differences. Gay suggests that the postcolonial classroom, especially one focused on concepts like voice and postcolonial perspectives, can serve as an arena where students and educators wrestle with ideas and each other. Her perceptive examination of the flare-up and her attention to student voices exemplify a pedagogical approach that encourages us to consider whether certain classrooms could be optimal spaces for a postcolonial pedagogy that entails struggle, even if it carries the risk of inducing discomfort. In this light, Gay's reflections underscore the ethical responsibilities of educators within the shared commitments of postcolonial and composition studies, where advocating for student agency and individual expression is paramount. Emphasizing ethical philosophy, particularly the ideas of Emmanuel Levinas, Gary A. Olson's essay Encountering the Other, Postcolonial Theory and Composition Scholarship, also underscores the importance of questioning how we handle difference in teaching. Olson raises concerns about the potential misuse of difference as a tool of control, the temptation to retreat to our own perspectives, and the emotional satisfaction that might come from wielding authority over students. Both Gay and Olson emphasize that our ethical endeavors as educators and scholars revolve around how we navigate encounters with otherness. Yet, what remains to be determined is how the engagement with otherness can be specifically addressed by postcolonial studies, given its lack of a clear-cut definition. Deepika Bari's cautionary note about the tendency to conflate postcolonialism and multiculturalism, 69, echoes throughout the collection. This blending often results in oversimplifying both projects, reducing nuanced matters of marginality, otherness, and historical context that demand attention. In the essay The New Literacy-Orality Debates, Ebonics and the Redefinition of Literacy in Multicultural Settings, C. Jan Swearingen, delves into the backlash against multiculturalism in educational settings, to scrutinize the racist undertones behind efforts to dilute or suppress what she identifies as parallel undertakings of postcolonialism and multiculturalism. The collection concludes with Swearingen's call for a balanced approach, stating that uncritical celebration of difference and the nostalgic longing for homogeneity are equally untenable. Swearingen's plea for a middle ground resonates with the polemical spirit of Min Jan Lu's argument, offering a challenge and an invitation for scholars and educators, in both postcolonial and composition studies, to persist in crossing borderlands. This phrase encapsulates the volume's overarching mission: to create a borderland of possibilities between theory and practice, while also encouraging the exploration of a middle path that maintains the richness of diversity without resorting to simplification or uniformity.